So wherever the people are, the Ishmaelite will be there and will be a part of that group. And
Yeah.
she called the name of the Lord who spoke unto her, your God sees me, for she said, I have also here looked after him who sees me. So here's Agar now experiencing God for herself. And now he's calling God in the Hebrew tongue Elrio, which means you are the one who permits himself, the one who permits himself to be seen. This is what Agar um, summary of God was after encountering God personally for herself. Verse 14. Wherefore the well was called Beroshai. Behold, it is between Kadesh and Bered. Verse 15. And Agar bore Abraham a son, and Abraham called his son's name, which Agar bore Ishmael. And Abraham was fourscore and 6 years old, which is 86, when Agar bore Ishmael Abraham. All right. So note that Abraham was what? Fourscore and 86 when Agar bore Ishmael to Abraham. Now when Abraham was verse 17 now. And when Abraham was 90 years old and 9, the Lord appeared unto Abraham and said unto him, I am the Almighty God, which is to tell Abraham how powerful he was, which in the Hebrew tongue is El Shaddai, which means strong as to overpower, which means he was all powerful. The Lord is telling the patriarch Abraham, yeah, that he is capable of bringing to pass all that he has promised him. Yeah, walk before me and be thou perfect. So he is giving Abraham a commission. Yeah, and out of that commission, Abraham will identify and find his purpose. And I will make my covenant between me and you and multiply your seed exceedingly. And Abraham fell on his face, and God talked with him, saying, As for me, behold, my covenant is with you, and you shall be a father of many nations. Neither shall your name any more be called Abraham, which is Abram, but your name shall be called Abraham, which is Abraham. For a father of many nations have I made thee. So we're looking at, was Ishmael a part of God's intended covenant? And I will make you exceedingly fruitful, and I will make nation of you, and kings shall come out of you. And I will establish my covenant between me and you and your seed after you in their generation for an everlasting covenant, to be a God unto you and to your seed after you. So God is telling Abraham that I've got a big plan. I've got a big plan for you. Yes, just wait and see. Verse 8. And I will give unto you and to your seed after you the land wherein you are a stranger, or the land of Canaan, which is now modern day Israel, for an everlasting possession, and I will be their God. And God said unto Abram, You shall keep my covenant therefore, and your seed after you in their generation. This is my covenant which you shall keep between me and you, and your seed after you. Every man child among you shall be circumcised. Now, this is the covenant. Every man child. So Ishmael was circumcised, I believe, because he was the seed of Abraham. And he who is 8 days old shall be circumcised among you, every man child in your generation. He who is born in your house or bought with money of any stranger, which is not of your seeds. He who is born in your house and he who is bought with your money must need be circumcised. And my covenant shall be in your flesh for a for an everlasting covenant. So let's move on. Verse 14. And the uncircumcised man child who flesh of his foreskin is not circumcised, that sort shall be cut off from his people. He has broken my covenant. So here's God is starting out with a new people, a new spiritual people that he's going to bless and he's going to use to be a blessing to the whole of the world. But let's look if Ishmael or the the messenger of the Arabic nation, yes, was a part of that plan. And God said unto Abram, as for Sarah your wife, you shall not call her name Sarai, but Sarah shall her name be. So it's not Sarai, but Sarah in English. And I will bless her and give you a son also of her. Yes, I will bless her, and she shall be a mother of nation, kingdom, people shall be of her. If you notice, God would emphasize in the word yes, which is to tell Abraham, look, I know it seems impossible and it seems weird, but I've got my purpose. And when with man all things are when things are impossible, with me things are possible. So let's move on.
Mm.
Then Abraham fell on his face and laughed and said in his heart, shall a child be born unto him who is over 100 years? Abraham could not understand how at that age when he's past the age of producing, so to speak, that his wife would give him a son. So he laughed. I think he laughed, some people said, in disbelief of the revelation that God was giving to him. How he could have laughed to say, okay, here, here, I can never be a everlasting laughter because I will go down in history as one of the holiest men who have a child. Let's move on. Verse 18. And Abraham said unto God, oh, that Ishmael might live before you. So he's
Mm.
asking, here is God, Abraham asking God, will Ishmael have some sort of place in your spiritual plan? Yes?
Mm.
And God said, Sarah your wife shall bear you a son indeed, and you shall call his name Isaac, which means laughter. And I will establish my covenant with him for an everlasting covenant, and with his seed after him. So here is God telling Abraham clearly, your wife will have a son, Abraham, and he is who I will be the heir of your in spiritual blessing and inheritance. So was Ishmael a part of God's plan? You judge for yourself. And as for Ishmael, I have heard you. Behold, I have blessed him, and I will make him fruitful and multiply him exceedingly. 12 princes shall be beget, and I will make him a great nation. So the 12 nation, as it were, from the Arabic kingdom will be from Ishmael, and I believe out of that lineage, Muhammad came as a prophet. But what we're looking at was God intend to bless the whole world through Ishmael or Muhammad, so to speak, from the Arabic world, or through Abraham and the Hebrew people of the land of Canaan, which is modern day Israel. But my covenant I will establish with Isaac, which Sarah shall bear unto you at this set time in next year. So it was a yearly promise that he was going to accomplish the following year. And we'll see much more if Ishmael was a part of God's plan as we read on. Tony, tell me when to stop. When you think you've done, yes, your testing. Go on. Carry
No,
on.
no, no. Yeah, yeah. Yeah.
Okay. And he left off talking with him, and God went up from Abraham. And Abraham took Ishmael, his son, and all who were born in his house, and all who were bought with his money, servants, that is, every male among the men of Abraham. house, and circumcise the flesh of their foreskin in the self-same day as God had said unto him. So Abraham circumcised the entire household, yes, which is to teach us that we need to obey God in our household. And Abraham was 90 years old and 9 when he was circumcised in the flesh of his foreskin. And Ishmael his son was 13 years old when he was circumcised in the flesh of his foreskin. In the self same day was Abraham circumcised, and Ishmael his son. And all the men of his house, born in the house and bought with money of the stranger, were circumcised with him. But notice, Isaac is not a part of the picture yet. And the Lord appeared unto him, Abraham, that is, in the plain of Mamre, and said unto him, and he sat in the door in the heat of the day. Sorry. And he sat in the door in the heat of the day, and he lifted up his eyes and looked, and lo, there were 3 men stood by him. And when he had saw them, he ran to meet them for the tent door and bowed towards the ground, and said, My Lord, if I have found favor in your sight, pass not away, I pray you, from your servant. Let a little water, I pray you, be fetched, and wash your feet, and rest yourself under the tree. And I will fetch a morsel of bread which will comfort your heart, and after you shall pass on. For therefore you are come to your servant. And they said, So do as you have said. So here's our angel now visiting Abraham. And as he was made provision for them, he was very hospitable to the men. But these were actually angel of the Lord coming to confirm the covenant with Abraham. But we'll find out as we go along. And Abraham hastened into the tent unto Sarah and said, Make ready quickly 3 measures of fine meal, knead it, and make cakes upon the earth. And Abraham ran unto the earth and fetched a calf tender and good, and gave it unto the young man, and he hastened to dress it. And he took butter and milk, and the calf which he had dressed, and set it before them. And he stood by them under the tree, and they did eat. So here's the men of
Oh,
God, the angel of God, as it were, was in fact.
actually, I was just
Yes.
gonna say
Tony.
something.
Sorry?
You can hear me? Hmm?
You go. Yeah, I'm hearing you. Yeah.
Yeah, no. One thing about this free plan is I can only stream to one at a time. But what we could do is, there's more people. I've got more people on Facebook,
All right.
so
You can
I
stream
could
into
try.
Facebook for me?
Yeah, so I could switch it to Facebook from YouTube. See if anyone more people turn up.
All right, cool. That's fine. That's fine. Should I
Yeah,
carry on
all
then?
right.
In a minute
Well,
or wait on you?
no, let me set up this. I'll set up this Facebook one. Then I'll send you the link, and then after that, then I'll just end this one.
Okay, right. But
Hmm?
okay. But the question is, you can ask any question Tony, as you have on the screen there. But but the topic should be how Abraham was Ishmael a part of God's covenant? Sorry, was Ishmael a part of God's covenant as as it relates to spiritual blessing? Okay.
Right.
All right. Go on.
Yeah.
So should I carry on reading, as you say? I'll wait till you.
Well, let me
I'll carry on
let
reading.
me
By the time I read
yeah,
it through,
yeah.
Tony, you'll come out with it. Yes? Yes, I'll carry on reading.
Mm,
All right. Yeah. All right. Carry on. Right. And Abraham hastened. Right. No. Where am I? Verse 9. And they said unto him, Where is your. So this is the 3 angel that came to visit Abraham. Uh, and they said unto him, Abraham that is, where is Sarah your wife? Excuse me. And he said, behold, in the tent. And he said, I will certainly return unto you according to the time of your life. This is angel of God that was sent from God to give Abraham the confirmation of the covenant that he's about to make with Abraham, according to the promise that was given to them 10 years prior to now. It says, and he said, I will certainly return unto you according to the time of life, and lo, Sarah your wife shall have a son. Sarah heard it in the tent door which was behind him. Now Abraham and Sarah was old and well stricken in age, which is approximately about 100. So Abraham was 100 years of age, I presume, and Sarah approximately about 90. And it ceased to be with Sarah after the manner of woman. So she couldn't conceive there at that time, at that age anyway. Therefore Sarah laughed within herself, saying, after I am waxed old, shall I have pleasure, my lord, Abraham being old also. In other words, she's saying that I'm not in the mood, I'm not in the strength, I am past my age. Yeah, we're not going to be producing any seed according to how I'm feeling, and according to my calculation from a human standpoint to God, she's saying it's impossible. But God was trying to show them that the flesh, it will fail, but God is the God of all things, and He is able to do with anybody according to His will and purpose. Therefore, Sarah laughed, as I said before, within herself, saying, after and what soul shall I have pleasure, my Lord, being also old? Verse 13. And the Lord said unto Abraham, wherefore did Sarah laugh, saying, shall I of a surety bear a child which I am old? It wasn't particularly the Lord was speaking, but the men of God was speaking to Abraham, I believe.
Oh, do you want to check your email?
1 minute, I'll come to you. Right, check my email. The same email address, right?
Yeah.
In the same email address, right? That's right. Minimize this and come to my email. Right. Right. We think he would be in junk again, right?
Yeah, probably.
I'll check it out. Yeah. All right. It says another link come at 1618, right?
Yeah, yeah. All right, I'm going to stop the YouTube one.
Yeah, I do. Okay.